It's Kaipacha with the weekly Pele report. Back down home in the jungle. All right, let's look at the astrology for Wednesday, July 9th of 2025. That moon moves into Capricorn today. And by tomorrow, I'm going to say in the East Coast of the United States, we have a full moon in Capricorn at 18 degrees 50 minutes at 4:37 p.m. Use your time zone converter to get that exact moon. Maybe do some ceremony, maybe do some ritual. Honor the goddess, honor the gods and the spirits. She's going to continue on then, and by Friday, she will be moving into Aquarius to conjunct Pluto, right? And continue on through Saturday, opposing Mercury, trining Venus. Look at this. You may feel like you are in a jungle these days, and the path may not be really clear to find your way out of it. But let's remember, astrology shows us there are no accidents. The big thing I want to be talking to you about today is Saturn. Saturn stations to go retrograde on Saturday. But let's understand, this is a slow process. It's time to slow down. I'll be reading you the Sabian symbol for Saturn stationing at the 2nd degree of Aries, because it's there from June 10th to July 17th. So this is an activation happening for quite some time. And then, of course, he's going to move back into Pisces for a little bit there. Neptune will join him, and they're going to have their conference back with the infinite source before going direct again. And by Sunday, that moon is going to move into Pisces until what? Monday trines Jupiter, squares Venus, opposes Mars. Tuesday she goes along and trines the Sun just before moving into Aries. So we're having this full moon, and then it's going to begin to wane. Yeah? So I'll find some little spot over here in the Garden of Paradise and look at the camera and talk to you all about it. Hola, okay, everybody. Today we talk about Saturn. Chronos, Father Time, the Lord of Karma, having to do with structure, with security, physical, financial security, responsibility, duty, showing up in the world, whether we feel ready or not, think we are ready or not, able or not. It can be demanding to continue on. So Saturn is commitment and perseverance, sticking with it, staying with it. Goes around every 28 years, 29 years or so. We have our Saturn return at 28, 29, and again at 57, 58. And then again, if you're really sticking around, another cycle after that. But it goes retrograde for about about a third of a year. He's going to be retrograding back into Pisces and staying retrograde until November 27th. So retrograde is rebel and revolt against the social norms, against the way other people do it, or external authorities tell you to do it, or your family or your ancestry, so this is a time to like reflect. I mean, Saturn rules reflection. My teacher Jeffrey Green always said, yes, that today's Western society calls reflection depression, because it stops you from functioning in your social role and doing your job in your social capacity. Yeah, you have to, you can't sleep, or you stay home, or you're depressed because your soul is calling for reflection. And it retrograding back into Pisces. Pisces rules isolation, seclusion, right? Hospitals and prisons, monasteries, ashrams, places of, and even dreams, but connecting with this higher, still, silent voice within. Hopefully it's not silent, it's just quiet. Hence today's mantra has to do with sitting still. Time never stands still. Saturn never stands still, but there is an optical illusion. As the Earth passes Saturn, it appears to be going backwards. And that is no accident. That is, okay, it's a signal. It's astrology talking to us, spirit talking to us. This is a time to go back, to reflect over our past. And with Neptune, I mean, there's just so much to unpack here. I hope I can do it in one short little Pele report. Because these are very big concepts. I mean, we can see there's bombs dropping all over the world, and, it may feel as things are coming to an end. Pisces is the final sign of the zodiac. This is the end of thousands and thousands of years of patriarchy, of thousands and thousands of years of, I would say, in some ways, separation. There's nothing like AI. There's nothing like, technology that is bringing us to become more aware of each other, of global consciousness, of all of humanity. There's a flood in Texas. Everybody knows about it. There's a bomb dropped in, the desert. Everybody, we are all now tuning in more so than ever before. And this has a very powerful impact on us. Neptune is the collective unconscious. And so Saturn connecting with Neptune it's really time for us to, in some way, shape, or form, really look at, and Saturn also rules separation, space. Time and space are one, right? So Saturn is, also separation. We need to separate out what's going on in this collective unconscious, or we may be flooded. We may be overwhelmed. We may be taken down that wormhole into a state of confusion. What is mine? Where am I going? What is going on? Is there a future? Is World War III coming? Is, my job is being threatened by AI, or my financial security? My role in the world needs to change. Maybe my source of income. So everything is really being triggered right now, particularly with the full moon. The full moon in the sign of Capricorn is opposite the sun in the sign of Cancer. And Jupiter is in Cancer too. This is an axis, the Cancer-Capricorn axis. In your chart, it's the 4th and the 10th house. And this is what I call the security axis. Cancer wants emotional security, family, home, emotional connection, nurturing and support. And Capricorn wants physical, financial, job security. My role in the world, what I am doing, so that I can have respect, be treated with dignity, becoming an elder, an authority in my own field, in my own life. So Saturn rules maturity. Everything matures through time. That's why this week's song is, I was so much older then, I'm younger than that now. This time of reflection, what do we reflect on? Neptune and Pisces. Our dreams, our illusions, our fantasies, our hopes, our wishes. Which ones came true? Which ones didn't? And why? And why? Neptune wants to show us our illusions. And the way that it does that is through disillusionment. This is a time of reflecting upon and letting go of the emotional baggage of resentment, of blame, the result of judgment, us judging ourselves, us judging others, others judging us. Saturn also rules Capricorn this full moon. This is all about judgment. We cannot live without judgment. We need to make decisions. Saturn is also decisions. Saturn is big. He's the big shadow of all the other planets. He's the opposite of the sun, the opposite of the moon, the opposite of Jupiter, the opposite of Neptune. I mean, Saturn is counterpoint awareness. That is part of the earthly evolution of consciousness. We learn through projection. We learn through counterpoint awareness. Not me, not that, this, that, do, bop, bop. Objectivity. Objectivity. That really plays a very strong role. And we'll see it crop up in this week's Sabian symbol. Objectivity. So now we want to get into when we are not objective, when we are totally subjective, when we are in our Cancerian inner child that is innocent or naive and can easily go into Neptunian denial. I'm a victim. It's not my fault. They did me bad. They did me wrong. Iran's the bad guy. Putin is the bad guy. China's the bad guy. Let's point fingers at my ex, at my kids, at my parents, at this, at that. This projection now needs to drop. And it is dropping. And we have a choice. We can stay in denial. We can stay in this place of righteousness. Or we can go forward. And this is a conscious choice. Before I go there, let me go into just this whole notion of when something doesn't happen the way you want it to happen, but life carries you in a different direction, breaks up that relationship, you get fired, or you're abandoned, or you lose your money. Again, astrology says there are no accidents. What is loss about? Pluto, Scorpio, 8th house, loss. The ego experiences the polarity of gain and loss. And particularly when it is out of alignment with the soul's life intention. So we have a huge unconscious soul intention, and that's the ship that needs to make it to that port. And the ego is the captain. And if we get distracted, I think of one of my favorite characters in Greek mythology, has to do with the whole story of Odysseus, right? He got distracted by the sirens, and Neptune sent him this way and sent him that way and sent him the other way. And he had to face it. Took him 10 years to go this tiny little bit, from the Trojan War back to his home, right? Because he just kept going. It's a course correction. Your ego can fall out of alignment with your soul due to this attraction or that desire or right? They call it sin or error. We go this way, that way, the other way. And then Saturn and Neptune come together and boom. The bottom can drop out. I'm sorry, but you know what? That is not in alignment with your soul. And the ego experiences it as loss. The soul experiences it as course correction, getting back on track. So it becomes necessary for us to tap into outside the ego. We need to move up into the objective observer and really sit still. The mantra says contemplation, meditation, slow down. Let go of the schedules, of the agendas, of the deadlines, of the expectations. There's something more important right now. Moon in Capricorn, opposite the sun. This full moon is illumination. This is a day, this is a week, this is a month of Saturn stationing, being still, to go into a deeper level of awareness and get on track and let go of what is the inhibition. So the other thing that comes up with this, is it's a choice, a conscious choice to forgive. And how do we forgive? First of all, we take responsibility, Saturn, for creating this reality that we are now experiencing. We have used other people, we have used jobs, we have used the economy, we have used the politicians to help us create a reality. And now we're going to consciously choose to let go of blame, right? and to own full responsibility. Wow, look what I created for myself. Oh my God. What a mess. How did this happen? Where am I going? What am I doing? How could there be so much confusion about who I am and why I'm here? Oh my God. So where does forgiveness start? Your frickin' self. Take it easy on yourself. Oh, that's another song for this week. Take it easy on yourself. You can't forgive anybody till you forgive yourself. You gotta just, well, I guess first of all, it's admitting that it is a mess, right? We can deny, oh, that's not a mess. That's and I'm gonna fix it. I'm gonna whatever. I mean, okay, you can stay there. You can move forward and go, you know what? I admit, man, things are wonky. Not just with the world. They're wonky in my life. My marriage is not, as hunky-dory as I'd like to, as I tell everybody. Whatever, So we admit it. Then we forgive ourselves. And then we move into another place. And that other place is letting the other person, other people, society, food stamps, whatever, off the hook. And an even higher step is gratitude. Like, whoa, I never would have seen that about myself. I never would have learned that. I never would have gone there. I never would have if it wasn't for you, right? I would still be blind to my own shadow. I would still not deal with the feelings, the emotions that I'm actually here to use as a healer for other people. If we don't see and feel our own garbage, we can't help people see or heal their garbage. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, this is a profound period where we can make tremendous evolutionary progress. As long as we are willing to take up the task. What's the Sabian symbol for this full moon? A 5-year-old child carrying a bag filled with groceries, rising to the occasion when asked to assume responsibilities ahead of one's normal development. There is no doubt we are being asked to be bigger than we are, than we were, than we think we are. This is a challenge, right? To step up into being the king. Saturn is the emperor, yeah? The emperor card in the tarot. Boom! The queen. Taking responsibility for the kingdom. So yeah, I mean, whoosh. It's a big one. It's a big one. But now, even more so than that, let's also look at what's going on, like I said, for Saturn from the middle of June to the middle of July, sitting right at a comedian reveals human nature. The capacity to look objectively at oneself and at others. While the first phase of the process of emergence is essentially in terms of subjective impulse and the desire to act, the second phase represents the attempt to evolve an objective awareness of existence. Full moon, Capricorn, Saturn, maturity is objectivity. Through a sense of contrast, consciousness is gradually being built. The ability to see oneself reflected as in a mirror. And eventually is a key word here. Hindsight is 20/20. It may be 10 years from now, okay, but eventually to laugh at the inadequacy of the form one sees. Thus, humor, the triumph of objective consciousness over subjective feeling and moods or involvement in self. We need to balance self-involvement, victimization, martyrdom, oh poor me, and oh what my mother did, and oh my home, and oh my kids, and oh my da 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 da, and we need to come out into that full moon in Capricorn. Ow! The stage of objectivation of consciousness. This second phase complements and polarizes the first, which stresses the subjective desire to become individually conscious. Now, what I'm going to say here, now I have to modify what I said, because really, it's not either or, it's both and more. I'm not saying, okay, to ignore your feelings, don't cry, suppress your sorrow. Actually, we want to do both. We want to go fully into the mother. We want to go fully into the sorrow. We want to acknowledge that we have been hurt and that as a child we deserved more, or as, an adult we deserve, we're not bad. We're not being, we should not be punished. Feel all these feelings and observe yourself feeling those feelings, right? This is what meditation is about, right? Where you can be in it and out of it simultaneously. Yeah, baby. Oh, baby. Yeah. You're not going nuts, okay? This is not nuts. This is, I'll tell you what, Anne, even if this isn't enough for you, Mercury's going to station to go retrograde, okay, on the 18th, right? And that's in Leo, the sign of, again, self, right? I'm special, I'm unique, I'm da-da-da. Well, let's reflect on that a little bit. Yeah. We can't be special at the expense of other people. So we have to really do this balancing act of the axes. I will sit still in deep contemplation. Looking back on all I have done. I'm sorry, if you're in your 50s, 60s, or 70s, you're going to have to sit for a long time. Right? Oh, man. The biography gets longer, baby. You want to be thankful if you're in your 30s or 40s because, the river is not that long. Forgiving myself and forgiving the other. as in the end, we all are one. I think this is another key factor in the act of forgiveness and letting go is this, I want to say, knowledge more than belief or faith. If we can actually succeed in knowing the one, the oneness of all creation. This is what the yoginis and the yogis are all about. This is what the Tao is all about. This is, so many religions, heaven and all that. Yeah, this is the crown opening, and you may not get it on an ego level. In fact, you won't get it on an ego level. The ego lives in separation. The ego is a prisoner in time of Saturn. So it's not like you're going to get this, conscious hit explanation. Oh yeah, that it's no. That it doesn't come that way. It comes as what I call an imperience. It's not an experience. It's an imperience. So in states of meditation, in states of plant medicine, in states of altered states of consciousness, it is a feeling. It is a knowing. It is a penetration into the invisible realms of the infinite. This provides the ultimate source of vitality, of energy, of will. We have to tap into an understanding that our root chakra is a portal into the great unknown. And we need to draw up like an oil well. Yeah, we need to understand that, they're not rich over there for nothing, yeah? They're drawing up. Yeah? From that root chakra, from the great mother, Gaia. That is our chi. That red energy that gives us the strength and the energy to persist, to raise it up, and then to penetrate into the higher cosmic realms of Uranus and Neptune. Yeah? So here we are. If we can actually come into a state of gratitude for living at this time and see this as an opportunity beyond all opportunities to purge, to release, to let go of all that is not our essential potential. I love it. That sounds great, right? Our essential potential. We will all come out of this with our essential potential. Yeah, boom. And we will start again. Saturn and Neptune will come back into Aries next February. There's that grand final conjunction. Okay, we will come out of this. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of letting go. Maybe a lot of loss of life. maybe some wars, part of this purging, part of this, the old world order, okay? It's just tumbling down, okay, like a house of cards. This old world order, so much is going to go. I want to encourage you, do not cling. If you go into those rapids back there, you can't really see them very well from here, but have you ever held on to a rock, in the rapids? Yeah? Or you've gone river rafting and your raft gets wrapped around a rock, okay? It's painful. You can die. It's, yeah. Do not hold on. When you in your contemplation, when you in your meditation, when it comes through, this has got to go. That's got to leave. You need to say goodbye. You need to really own your intuition. Really believe. Spirit is with you, and it may not make sense, and it may not look pretty, and it may not be easy, and it may, cause a lot of tears. But I want to encourage you. You can do this. I will sit still in deep contemplation, looking back on all I've done, forgiving myself and forgiving the other. As in the end, we all are one. Namaste. Aloha. So much love.